So you might have been asking that if God is all knowing, all powerful, potent, omniscience, and all sort of attribution that you are given unto God, then why did He create a world of evil? Why on earth did He create a world full of evil? He knew that women were going to be raped. He knew that houses would be destroyed. He knew that children would be killed. Innocent souls are going to be lost, but yet still He created this world. You might have asked that if God says that He's loving and still allowed this thing to happen, then God is not loving. No, like, it's not actually really sensible, to a normal human person that you tell me that I love you, but then you put me into trouble. No, you are not able to defeat the devil himself. Then you sent him down here on earth and tells me that if this devil is able to overcome me, then I'm going to hell. How do you tell me that? Is that also love? Well, this is Seeing I. My name is Sam. This is your first time watching me. Subscribe, share, like. It is very, very important. Don't go without sharing. Don't go without subscribing. Don't go without liking this video. Else, well, then leave that to another place. So, there is this man of God in Nigeria, Apostle Michael, that has tried to answer these questions. He kind of digested these questions so that we Christians, if you call yourself a Christian or believer in Christ, we can be able to understand why God, the Supreme Being, allowed these things to happen. If He's all-knowing, if He's all-powerful, that means He knew that there are times to come that atrocities, evil, is going to permeate the whole universe. But then He still allowed it to happen. Why? Let's listen to what Apostle Michael Oracle has to say.
Why does He have to allow evil come into the world and come to die? If He's all-knowing, why didn't He create a world where there's no evil? If you are the one, what will you say? This is how it works. There are two laws that govern existence. The first law that governs existence is the law of consciousness. If you are not conscious, you can't exist. But you see, existence is not all about consciousness. Existence is also about free will. Because while consciousness brings you the awareness of existence, free will is what brings meaning to existence. So if God wanted to create a people who will find meaning to existence, He will not only give them consciousness, but He will give them free will. So on one side, God knows that because man has a free will, evil can come because his free will authorize him to choose what he wants. What will God do? He went ahead to create the world. And I'll tell you why. And why there is evil on the earth. Like He said, the evil on the earth is not God's fault, it's man's fault. Because if God had only given us consciousness, we would have been robots. We would not have appreciated existence, and existence would not have meant anything to us. But to bring essence to existence, God gave us free will. It was with our own free will that we admitted evil to the earth. We brought evil to the earth. And we are cooperating with the devil to propagate evil. When you see that somebody carries a gun and shoots people, he wasn't born a thief. How did he build that consciousness? He built that consciousness through the society that we have developed. A drunk society, a lawless society. So the society we created is what trained him to think in that order. And that's why he became a criminal and a rapist. So that society that emanated by the collective expression of our free will cannot be blamed on God. It can only be blamed on us. Are you following this? So in that light, there's evil on the earth because of man's free will, not because of God's creation. And then you now go further to say, if God knew, why did He still create what He has created? He created what He created because there is a system He has in place. And there are two systems. The first system is the system of intervention, and the second system is the system of reward. In the system of intervention, God does everything possible to reduce the evil that is on the earth through those who believe in Him and accept His principles. That's why you have blessings. That's why you have intervention. Even the death of Jesus is a type of intervention that God brought to the earth. So if you receive God's principle and work with God, through discernment you will not find yourself in evil. Applying God's principle, you will not find yourself overrun by evil. And just in case you are caught up in evil, there's a second system called reward. This is why Jesus died, but Jesus didn't end in the grave. Jesus rose from the dead to let you know that death is not the end. That means even if you were maligned and you died justly, or you were affected by evil, a day will come that God will reward you, and reward you so much so that everything that happened to you will pass away as if it didn't exist, because he has the capacity to do that. Imagine for a second that you are working in your office and you were refused your salary, and for a season you suffered because of the free will of your boss. And then at the end of the year, the owner of the company shows up and say, oh, they refused to pay you your 1 month salary. We are sorry for everything you suffered. Now take 10 years salary for that 1 month. That recompense has covered for everything you suffered for that 1 month. And it covered for it so much that you will not even remember that's one. In fact, the next time you will say, is there another month that they can take another 1 month? If 1 month can produce 10 years. I'm not saying this is how God will do it directly, but I'm saying there is a reward system that God has in eternity, that for everybody who was unjustly treated in time, he knows what to do to balance up for what they suffered because of the heart of man. And then you come to the second aspect. You say, okay, if you say we have free will, why does God insist that we should worship him? And he answered it correctly. You don't have to worship God. It's your choice. If you choose not to worship God, there's nothing God will do about it. And then you go further to say, okay, if worshiping God is a choice and there's no big deal not worshiping God, why does God prepare the hell for those who don't walk with him? It's because of his love. And it's because of his respect for your free will. What is hell? Hell is actually the only place in eternity outside of God. Let me give you 2 illustrations. If you have a phone, maybe this phone I'm using, and they invented this phone and they said, use this phone in a particular way, otherwise it will be destroyed and it will become a scrap. And if it becomes a scrap, there's a place we dispose of it. What does that mean? If you use the phone the way you have to use it, it won't become a scrap. But if you don't use it the way you have to use it, it will become a scrap and it will be discarded to where scraps are discarded. Hell is like a place where people who allow evil into them and refuse God have to stay outside of God. Now, although God told man, if you sin, you will die. And if you die, there is a place for those who allow evil overtake them and who reject me. There's a place for them. So don't sin. Now, man went ahead to sin, meaning he's justified to stay outside God, because God also has the right to say, I won't allow evil in my space. God also has the right to say, I will accept you if you choose me. But if you allow evil, I have the right not to allow you into my space. And there are 2 spaces. Either you are in me or you are away from me. Evil is where hell is designated for, because it's a place that is inconsistent with me. So every man who sins has already made a choice to go there. So God cannot override his choice and say, no, you have chosen a place that is outside me, you must come to me. He can't do that.
So there you go. You've heard what Apostle is saying. What Apostle is saying there is that everything comes from human. The fault comes from human. Well, I think I accept that, because we have, according to him, what we know as conscience, free will. We have to decide what we want and what we do not want. But the question is, let's put aside the advice and all that. If God is all powerful, why didn't he just destroy Satan so that he will stop kind of bothering us and all that? Because it's actually something that I can't even fathom, that you tell me you love me, you bring in someone that is way stronger than me, and at the end of the day you tell me that I allow that person to overcome me, then I'm going to hell, I'm going to face destruction, I'm going to face something of a sort that I wouldn't like. But all comes down to the point and the fact that we all have free will. We all have free will. We can say, this is what I want, this is what you want, and that is it. I can't force you to eat the food you do not want to eat. Even if I provide it, okay, I want you to eat fried rice, you want to eat pounded yam with some local dish, something. And then I bring this fried rice, I buy everything, make it so assorted. So far as you don't want to eat it, I can't force you to eat. That is the free will. They said you can force a horse to a river, but you can't force that horse to drink from that river. The free will, that's what we are talking about here right now. So if you are out there, you're blaming God for the problem that is happening, for everything that you are facing, no, you should be blaming yourself, because it is your decision that brought you where you are. So here again is CI. My name is Sam. Before I go, please subscribe, share, a lie. Like I said, if you do not like